All right, well, we're at 5:30. I'd like to call the August 25th, 2022 work session of the Coffee County Board of Education meeting to order. This time I'd like to ask Dr. Banks. It's been 6 years.
He's the worst Dr. Banks has ever
Say it, I
No, I appreciate it, Mr. President. If you'll join me in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for loving us and blessing us, Lord, and allowing us just to be here and be breathing, Lord, and to be representing you as we serve the students of Coffee County, Lord. And I thank you for this board. I thank you for their vision and leadership. I thank you for Dr. Lease and his leadership of the system. I pray that business tonight is pleasing in your sight, and the things that we say and we do are honoring to you. I pray for the safety of our students and our schools, Lord, and I just ask your blessings on each and everything that we do. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Marble. All right, at this time I need a motion for the adoption of the agenda. Mr. Wade, a second.
Second.
Mr. Jowers, any discussion on the agenda? All in favor?
All right, thank you, sir. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. We have a good crowd here. Thank y'all for being here, and we'll proceed with the business. So, first item that we have is the school update, and we have Nichols Elementary School, and we have Miss Lori Bratcher, the principal from Nichols, here to present what's been going on at Nichols.
Okay. I do have, let's not watch my time. I just have one more handout here because I'm going to show pictures while I talk about the items on these two slides. So,
Thank you.
Would you like this cookie? It may work.
Oh, I missed that.
But if it doesn't work, just look at it.
Okay, all right. I'm in charge now. Okay. I'm trying to see which one's the finest. Okay, there we go. Well, I'm glad to be able to be here today. I was just here in March, so y'all can tell who was the last person to read her email from Miss Lott concerning signing up for the board meetings. But I have to say I am glad to go ahead and get it done, and I'm getting to share it from a different perspective at the beginning of the year rather than toward the end. So that's a nice change. So it's good. I'm glad to be able to share it with y'all today. But Nichols Elementary School, it is our pleasure to teach and learn at Nichols Elementary School. Okay, there we go. The demographics do not look much different today than they did back in March. There are some slight changes, but nothing earth-shattering or anything like that. Our staff has remained the same. I was one of the few, I think, that did not have to hire anybody over the summer, so that was a pleasure to be able to keep my same staff, and we just moved people around a little bit, but everybody is still there, and we're going strong this year. Rockin' Redskins are responsible, respectful, and safe. Those are our expectations for our behavior. And our improvement goals, one relates to reading and one relates with math. And our goal in math is to increase math fluency and problem solving by 3% as measured by our school-wide pros and the Georgia Milestone Assessment. And then it's very similar for reading. We just have it as increasing our reading fluency and writing by 3% as well. And in order to do that, we are going to instill and utilize these professional development items that you see listed here. And Logan, I'm gonna let you click because I'm afraid I don't know if I'll be able to talk and click at the same time. So if you'll just click through these next few slides as I talk, and then when we get to the Camp Twist, you can stop. I may have already stopped talking by then, but we'll see. Okay, these are just some pictures that I took this past week of our homeroom classes. So you'll see one picture of every homeroom, just random pictures, nothing special going on. It's just our students at work. But for professional development this year, we're focusing on our literacy initiative through implementing Saxon Phonics, and we're training our teachers and our parapros. And with Title IIA, we provide new teacher support, but since we don't have any new teachers, we're just providing that support to our teachers who have moved grade levels, because we did move some people from 5th to kindergarten and things of that nature. But those have been great moves so far. In PBIS, we are just going back over our Tier 1 interventions, and yeah, you can stop right there. And our STAR assessment training, we're doing that for 2nd grade through 5th grade, and again, that ties into our literacy initiative. We, of course, at this time right now, actually are analyzing our Georgia milestone data for 4th and 5th grades, just making sure that we know where those students are, and we're using that data for instruction at this time. And in ESOL, our teachers actually requested some co-teaching training to work on that with our ESOL teacher, even though most of them have been there for quite some time. They just recognize a need for a refresher course in that, so we're working on some co-teaching training with our ESOL and regular education teachers. And then once we're doing our CDM and STAR assessments at this time, and we're going to analyze that data in a couple of weeks to utilize that for instruction as well. And then part of our literacy initiative, again, is writing with 360 narrative and opinion writing. And then later in the year, we're going to focus on informative writing for that as well. Growing readers, we're going into our 4th year with that. So we're focusing first on the data and the hierarchy. And then later on, we're going to focus on strategy groups with that. And that's something that I'm going to go in and help the academic coach with in making sure that we're implementing that with fidelity, as well as going back to the Saxon phonics. We're going to do observations and monitoring of that to make sure that that's being implemented with fidelity as the program suggests. And then with math, the 6 components of a math lesson, that's tried and true. It's been around for many years, but you can't beat those 6 components, and making sure that our teachers are utilizing that in their daily lessons, and we just like to refresh them every year to make sure they're on track with math. And then we're providing vertical planning for both ELA and math throughout the school year. We're analyzing our Beacon data once that's available. Reflex Math is the online math program that we use, and that's definitely something that we work training teachers on how to use that data and how to best use that in the classroom setting. And then we are building staff capacity and looking at our balanced literacy program, which is the overarching framework for our literacy, and then also number talks for math as well. Over the summer, we had a Camp Twist, and Camp Twist, let me get to it because I can't remember it off the top of my head. TWIST stands for Teamwork Will Inspire Students and Teachers, and our students, I just have a few pictures I wanted to share of that. Over the summer, we had 5 teachers, and one of our teacher leaders was, I can click now, thank you. And one of our teacher leaders did an excellent job charting in a new territory, being in charge of this, and they had a culminating activity at the end of that summer school with a 50s theme, and the kids had a really good time. But they really learned a lot, and we just focused on the basics, and we were able to close a few gaps that we know are there because of COVID. And then here's just a few more pictures. We tried to make sure that the daily instruction was very interactive. There was just lots of fun going on, and very small groups, but the kids had a great time. There was a lot of reading going on, a lot of math, fact practice, and things of that nature. One of the things that we have found is the parents have been eager to get back in our building, and we decided to start the year off with a STEAM activity during open house, and it was an absolute success. Really, really fun activities. We had stations set up, and the parents, you can see pictures here of the parents working with their child on some of the different STEAM activities. We try to include some science and art and engineering in with what they're doing. And you can see the art. And then there we have some Lego sets, and the parents work with their kids on building different structures with the Legos and things of that nature. But the parents really, really enjoyed that and had a good time during open house. This is just a layout of what our year is going to look like with involving our parents. And we did find with the survey that we completed in the spring that the parents want to be back in the building, but they also appreciate the virtual options. There's times that they're not able to come, and so we've tried to provide a variety of options for them this year. The first being the STEAM activity during open house, but then also giving them virtual options as well, so they don't feel like they're always having to come to the school. So we tried to please both groups with that. And this is our school governing council. These are just a few of the faces of our parent and community members that I have here, and we have an election coming up that will take place during our Parent-Teacher Conference Day in September. We have to replace one of our parent representatives, so that'll be coming up in September, and we've got the letters sent out for that. But these are a few of our members, and they are great folks, and I really enjoy working with them. And just the last 3 points that I wanted to leave with you, if you think of what's going on at Nichols Elementary, what are we focusing on? You can know that our #1 priority is safety. That's the first thing that goes through our minds when we walk through that door. Is this building safe? Are these children safe? The next thing that we are focused on are standards, and that's our Georgia Standards of Excellence, and we expect to see this going on. That's what we expect the teachers to be teaching. Their lesson plans are aligned to that. Our goals are lined up with that, and our professional learning supports those standards. And then the last, once we've got those two in place, are our relationships. And that's what we're going to teach and what we're going to work on every minute of every day with every person that walks through our door at Nichols Elementary School. Thank you. Y'all have any questions?
I do on the Camp Twist. How many days and what time of the?
That was 3 days a week for 4 weeks. It was the month of June.
Okay.
And we did it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it was from 8 until 12 o'clock each day. And we had bus transportation, which everybody in the county had
Right.
that, and we each kind of came up with our own little theme for the camp. But we really, it was a fun month to have kids in the building and coming in and getting to enjoy some of the very small group time. That was very important.
What was your average attendance, do you?
We had about 30 kids per day.
Okay, thank you. Board members, anyone?
Okay.
go. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda, we have the minutes from our last monthly meeting and work session. Take a moment to look over those. If there are any additions or changes that need to be made. If it meets the pleasure of the board, we'll place those on the consent agenda for the regular meeting. Financial report. We have our tentative month-end financial report. Ms. Young has provided the July tentative financial report, and you will see the month ending July 31 tentatively, fund balance of $25,542,106.93.
We have a copy of that in our notebook.
Is that in the notebook? It's up on the, yeah, I don't.
It's on
It's on e-board, on that, you don't have a copy of that in there.
We don't have it.
That document, it's up on the screen. Be sure to get you a paper copy of that. When we break in between meetings, get you that. So, and if you want to go to the detail of the SPOS report, so we have the SPOS report. As you'll see, the July collections were up, and
Gene,
yes, sir.
who's posted it?
And let's see. Are there any questions about that? $701,659.55. I would say our retail additions are bringing in revenue. And we're about to have the Marshalls opened up back there, Five Below. So, all right, if there's no questions about that, then we will place those the SPOS report, which those are both tentative, aren't they? So we won't have approval on the consent agenda. All right. The next item on the agenda is the tax digest millage rate. And we received the tax digest from the county administrator who worked with the tax assessor and the tax collections office, and they have given us the millage of 16.019, which is what we had last year after taking the rollback. And we're recommending that we adopt 16.019 again this year, which means we will be leaving the millage rate at the current level. Any questions about that? All right, if there's no questions about the tax digest, then we'll place that on the consent agenda for approval. Facilities update. We asked the facilities director, Mr. Spikes, to present a little update to the board because we've been doing quite a bit of work. Michael's been very busy and Mr. Mobley's been very busy, and so we asked Mr. Spikes to come tonight and just kind of update the board on some of the work we've been doing. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Spikes.
You can go to the next slide, buddy. I'm sure you all know we've been doing epoxy flooring over the tile floor in the restrooms, and these are just some pictures. You can kind of scroll through them. But these are just some pictures of after putting the epoxy flooring down. You'll have to excuse the mess put on some of them, but I was taking them while school was going on. They finished east side school. They're about 99% finished for west side. Matter of fact, we got to go Saturday and do some work in there, and they will finish up Sunday with west side. You can scroll on through. This is a before picture of one of the restrooms before the epoxy, and that's an after picture. You can see the finish is a lot easier to keep clean. There's no grout lines. It's just a much better surface. And I've been pleased with the guys that's doing it. There's not but one crew working, but they have accomplished a lot in the time they've been here. And you can just scroll through. It's just, now this is, we bought 550 touch-free faucets to go in all the schools. And at this time, we have about 225 installed. That's going in every school in the county. And they seem to be working great. In the
I've been in the schools to wash my hands, and they work great. They are nice. And I will say this about the epoxy floors. I was just over at West Side earlier today, and it looked great in the gym area where they finished the restrooms in there with the epoxy floor. And then we were at East Side yesterday. And you know, elementary boys restrooms sometimes have a little odor. And because, you know, the aim and stuff like that. But so we went to East Side yesterday, and as we walked the school and came across the boys' restroom that had been completed with the floors, and I walked in the restroom, and you couldn't smell anything. It was very clean. So thank you for that.
We've also bought restroom cleaning equipment that they use, and that does help a lot. It's just like a pressure washer with a soap dispenser that does help a lot with the cleanliness.
Yes, sir.
Of the restrooms too.
What y'all are doing is working. Thank you.
And HVAC, it's coming along slow, but there's, supply chain issues, but all of the elementary schools, or Indian Creek and Ambrose had, they had white painted air conditioner registers in the classrooms, and they were rusty and dusty, and, as part of the contingency, we added new brushed aluminum grills that'll be easier to clean and they'll look better. This slide here is of Ambrose Gym, the new units being set, and today they were actually installing the inside part of those units in the school. And those are the lunchroom units for Ambrose. As far as Indian Creek, there's not a lot that's been done there other than some exhaust fans have been installed and a couple of mini split air conditioning units, but they're still waiting on materials to come in so they can get started installing. And I think that's all they can do.
Y'all have any questions for Mr. Spikes? Thank y'all for getting the buildings prepared for the opening of school. It was, I think, the smoothest school opening I've ever experienced. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the Satilla HVAC. We opened bids for that project today, and we have the bid sheet attached that we're asking the board to accept this evening so we can go ahead and get this work started. As you'll see, Stalby Heating and Cooling submitted a bid of $1,242,074. That's the low bid. And so we're going to recommend to the board that we accept the bid from Stalby to replace the air conditioning units at Satilla. Any questions about that? And we will use American Recovery Act funding to do that work. All right, if there's no questions, we will place that on the consent agenda. Softball batting cage. We have gotten quotes on improving the softball batting cage. And the low proposal is $26,999 from Douglas Metal and Steel Manufacturer. And we're asking the board to approve those improvements. Are there any questions about that? All right.
Where are those other folks from? S&S, they local?
They were out of Max.
Back.
I think it was a challenge getting quotes for them.
I called 4 and finally received 2.
All right, if it's the pleasure of the board, we'll place that on the consent agenda so that we can get started. All right, the next item on the agenda is the CTAE Budget and Local Needs Assessment. We have Ms. Rhonda Dorsey, our CTAE Director, here to present her plan.
Good evening. In front of you, I believe you have a copy of our budget where we have applied for our grants this year, and these are the ones that were approved with the funding amounts, and you can see the last 2 years. So each year we have had an increase this year compared to last year. I think across the state last year there was a decrease from my understanding across all of our CTA programs in the state. And so we greatly appreciate y'all's support approving this, as well as matching and meeting those requirements there with our funding. And you'll see our comprehensive local needs. Those are our goals within the CTA program. We have to write a new plan every 2 years, and it has to be a plan that has a lot of different components brought in and looked at, and data and
surveys. It's a lot like our title plans that the schools do for our program. And you'll see our goals and where our monies will be spent as far as our Perkins dollars. Pretty much your plan has to justify where you're spending your money. And so you'll see our goals and our budget that we would greatly love y'all's approval on. And while I have the floor, I have to do two things real quick. We are having a goat and sheep show this Saturday at our ag barn at the middle school. So if you have time, you want to come out. It's our Young Farmers Show that they host, Spencer and the ag teachers host every year. I think as of this afternoon, you had 107 entries, and typically they'll have 10 to 15 more the day of, and we'll probably still get some in tomorrow. So he's really proud that our numbers have increased with that as well. And anytime y'all want to come out and tour, I would love to tour y'all in our different CT classrooms. We've done the tour with our teachers for 2 days, similar to what we've done with our students that some of you were part of, to work towards some PBLs, so that the teachers are aware of some things we're doing in the classroom. And a lot, we're highly impressed with some of the things our students are creating, working on, and producing. So anytime y'all want to come out and take a tour, I'd be glad to tour y'all and see where your dollars are being spent and what our students are engaged in. That's all.
Very good. Any questions? All right, then we will place that on the consent agenda for approval. Thank you, Ms. Dorsey. Next, we have the FY22 Nita M. Lowry 21st Century CCLC Summative Evaluation. And they've attached the name. I had to ask too, because we've been approving every year the 21st century, but now they've named it after somebody, so we included that in there. All right, and we have Miss Shonda Harris here to present. Welcome, Miss Harris. Yes, ma'am.
And this is Miss Cecilia Smith. We're standing in on behalf of Mr. Bull, Michael Brown. My name is LaShonda Harris. I am the site coordinator for the Boys and Girls Club Teen Center, which is housed on the freshman campus. Go to the one that, the first slide. That's it. Thank you. So we're in year 3 of the grant that we're in, and the student engagement this year, for the past year, we had 90% of our students who attended 30 days or more, and that was 122 students out of 136. With our target for fiscal year 22, we had 130, mostly there every day out of 136, which gave us an average daily attendance of 92. And at the Boys and Girls site, the main campus located on Jackson Street, it was 110 every day out of 117, which gave us an 87%. Now at the George Washington Carver site, the teen center, our daily attendance was down to 5, and we had about 20 on attendance. And we're implementing something to help with that. We're asking that the 8th graders, which is housed at the main campus, come over to the teen center. And I think right now we have 14 8th graders, and we have 11 freshmen on the roster. So that would keep our average. Our average we want is at least 20 a day, so that will help with that. Because most of the 8th graders that are at the main campus, they have been at the Boys and Girls Club since 1st and 2nd grade. So that would give them the opportunity. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Chairman, may I ask?
Yep.
Now, I was told that may allow y'all to maybe increase enrollment at the main campus with the younger children a little bit?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Great. Well, that's a positive. Thank you.
Our year 3, 21st, our objectives We met all objectives for year 3, and Ms. Smith will go over the objectives at a later time. Our academic outcome, we focus on ELA, sorry, I'm at the bottom there. ELA, math, and science. For fiscal year 21, our average was 63%. For fiscal year 22, 64%. So we did increase. For math, 21 was 86%, and fiscal year 22 was 84%. We decreased by 2 points. For science, we had 85% for 21, and for 22 we had 78%. And this was GMAS scores, but we are working on that during the months when most school does the after school with GMAS. We also do after school. So we have teachers that would pull the students and work with them, and also we do it during the summer program. During our summer program, we have summer brain game, but this year we also tutored students during the summer. We took, I know I worked in the middle school, so we took grade by grade, and we would pull students while the rest went out to recess, and we would help them with math, ELA, and science standards. So we're working on that to improve our GMAS scores. As far as our report card, we focus on ELA, math, and science. In ELA for fiscal year, we were at 77, 21, 81, 22, 71%. And for math, fiscal year 20, 75%, 21, 74%, and 22, 66%. We decreased in ELA and math, but if you look at science, we went up from 72%, 76%, and 78% for the fiscal year 22 in science. So we're also working on that, and we work with the day teachers, we work with the parents. Teachers and staff are calling the day teachers, asking about grades, what can we do to help them. Mr. Bull, he's forever on the computer looking at grades, and we have a cutoff that if any student is below 75%, we work with them more one-on-one. The next slide, please. And our program Spotlight, this is about the surveys. We do surveys each year, and it's part of our grant, and we conduct surveys with parents, with students, staff, teachers. At a full report, you could go to the Coffee website to see the full fiscal year 22 summative report. And our parent satisfaction, 92% of our parents agree that the after-school program is having a positive impact on their child's academic performance. One parent said, one thing I like about the after-school program is I love the culture and what the Boys and Girls Club stand for. I like that the children are learning and also getting a lot of exercise during this time. So 92% of our parents agree that the after-school program is a great program and would like to continue seeing it. I will turn it over to Ms. Cece.
Good evening. My name is Cecilia Smith. Everyone calls me Cece. I'm the Family Service Coordinator for both sites. I'm here to present the objective status snapshot for fiscal 22 year. Our first goal is our academics, our reading and mathematics and science. We have 60% of our students regularly participating and will improve or maintain our A or B average in their reading grades, and we've met those. By 71% of our students improved or maintained an A or B. In mathematics, we had 60% of our students who met and improved or maintained an A or B. In science, we have 78% that met and improved or maintained an A or B. In ELA, 64% of students scored developing, learner, or improve. Goal 2, is our attendance. So our academics and our attendance is the most, the two factors that we look at in keeping our doors open at the Boys and Girls Club. So our attendance, behavior, and active participation. Absent from school, 92% of students were absent less than 10%. Improvement in behavior, met 84% of students demonstrated improvement in behavior. Improvement in class participation, 94% of students demonstrated improvement in class participation. This next one is mine. Good cup of tea by families to improve literacy, language, and parent skills. We had at least 2 family night sessions. 66% of families participated in at least 2 family sessions. And with knowledge of events, we had 100% of parents that has increased knowledge in the events we had there at the club. Our success statements, the next slide. Our program staff, just to summarize, they know they are loved, wanted, and cared for. These are the things that they're saying about the students. Our student survey, one of them said how I feel like it's family to everyone and how comfortable we are with each other. One of my parents states helps my child with improvement on her attitude and schoolwork. So those are a few touch base on the staff, the student, and the program staff. Oh, I have a teacher. A teacher says become more confident in sharing in class. So we did take some surveys from teachers at the school. We have some upcoming activities coming up. September the 15th through October 15th, we're having our Hispanic Heritage Month, where we ask our families that are Hispanic to come in and share their culture, where we can embrace their culture and learn more about them, where the other children can respect other cultures. So we do that with a lot of our children. We have different cultures. We have some Hispanic, Asian, and of course, Caucasian, African American. So we embrace all the cultures so we can do something with them and have families come in and participate on them. Also, our biggest event is our Lights On After School. That's coming up, and it's October the 20th. And our tentative theme will be monsters reading. We're having a book fair, so we're asking the community to come out to maybe purchase some books for some of our students there at the club. So information about all of these activities will be going out into the community for your help participation.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you all, Ms. Harris.
I have one thing. This summer, we had a theme. Our summer theme was Georgia on My Mind. And we decorated the classroom with Georgia facts, interesting facts. The kids, we did 5 field trips. We went to Plains, Georgia, to Jimmy Carter Historic Museum, which I love. I want to go back. It was awesome. We went to Pooler, Georgia, to the Aviation 8 Museum. And we did,
Went to
Jeff Island, did the Brunswick, the dolphin tour. But the kids, they really enjoyed the summer activities and the summer field trips. So our last thing I want to leave you with, that we're just asking the board to approve our fiscal year 23 budget so we can have another great year at the Boys and Girls Club and the Teen Center. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mother.
Board members, if it pleases the board, we'll place that evaluation on the consent agenda. Then our next item, I think, is what Ms. Harris was alluding to, which is the grant award. We have a grant award letter from the State Department of Education with funding for $315,000 for the Boys and Girls Club 21st Century that we're asking the board to approve also, to accept these funds. If it's meets consensus with the board, we'll place that on the consent agenda. All right. I just want to comment, thank you ladies for being here, presenting, and the work that y'all are doing. To know that, 10 years ago, we didn't even have a Boys and Girls Club in town, and now we've got 2 sites, the main campus and then at George Washington, all the programming y'all are doing. Thank you. That's excellent work. Thank you. Technology, we have a Chromebook purchase. Mr. Evans has presented, and I'm asking the board to approve this Chromebook purchase of 400 Chromebooks for various schools. And this would be made using ESSER 2 funds, the American Recovery Act funding. Any questions about this purchase?
This is part of what you presented to us earlier in the spring, that you were planning to put the 2, there were going to be 2 separate.
Yep. And we'll end up with a remaining balance about another $120,000 that we'll spend down the road. And so we're spacing those funds out through time to improve models. And so we expected a new model to come about by this time, and it did. And so we get a longer support life and a better product. And so it's the right decision to space the purchases out over time.
And the next item from technology is a surplus property request, and you've got some Chromebook carts, and some network switches that are no longer useful for the system.
Yes, sir.
So we're asking to declare those surplus and dispose of on gov deals. Any questions about that? If there's no questions, we'll place those items on the consent agenda and move forward to the school nutrition vehicle purchase. We came to the board last month asking for purchase of a vehicle, but that particular vehicle had sold. So we're coming back to the board to ask for the purchase of the presented vehicle tonight. And this is from the state contract purchase site, so this is purchased off the state contract. Are there any questions? We have Ms. Lewis here tonight. She could answer any questions if you don't have. All right, if there's no objections, we'll place that on the consent agenda. We have the FY24 facilities application. We're asking the board to approve this FY24 application. And by approving this, that would allow us to receive reimbursement from the state on the NJROTC facility. And they, if the board approves tonight, we will earn entitlement funding reimbursement of $447,224 for this project. Any questions about that? All right. The Coffee County Board of Education annual training plan. Each year we have to submit a training plan to the state board, Department of Education, to ensure that board members receive the hours that they're supposed to receive. And so in our plan, if y'all complete all these activities, you'll have 23 hours. You'll be well trained. So, all right. If there's no objections, we'll place that on the consent agenda. And the first one of those trainings will come up next month in September as part of our strategic planning on the 15th. So Next item on the agenda is the strategic planning resolution, and we are in year 5 of our current strategic plan. And so Mrs. Spate is here tonight. Ms. Spate, if you want to come forward and tell the board what we have here.
Good evening. We are in our final year, as Dr. Lee said, of our current strategic plan. And we are at the point that we have to initiate a new process of adopting our new 5-year plan. And we are presenting a resolution to you all tonight for your review and approval. We've identified the Georgia School Board Association as our facilitator to guide us through this process and establishing initiatives to chart our course as far as moving forward in the next 5 years for Coffee County Schools. So tonight, we just want your approval of the resolution to authorize our superintendent and staff in moving forward in this process.
All right, any questions on that?
No objections, we'll place that on the consent agenda. Thank you, Ms. Spade.
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Spade will be heading up, she will be our facilitator, internal facilitator for strategic planning. So, thank you. At this time, I would ask the board to go to executive session to discuss personnel and the employment or disciplinary action or hiring of individuals in the school system, and also real estate and the superintendent's evaluation.
Need a motion to exit to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor? Motion and a second. Any discussion on exiting executive session? What you saying? All right. All in favor? All right. I'll adjourn the work session.